get started. And as Tanya said, my name is Andrew GARLINSKI from SHATTUCK-ST School. If you have any questions at any moment while I'm talking, please write them in the chat box or say something and Tanya will help them get to me.
Окей. Всем еще раз здравствуйте. Меня зовут Эндрю Гарлински. Я сегодня буду рад ответить на все ваши вопросы. И, как я уже сказала, если они будут возникать, пожалуйста, задавайте их в чате. Мы обязательно на все ответим. И еще раз от меня просьба, поставьте плюс или минус, нужен ли вам перевод или нет. Вот, Елена ответила, и еще два. Что?
Okay, now I'm going to share my screen here and talk about how to, as a student, to make a good impression during the interview. Applying to a boarding school or university, of course, is a big process, but the interview for many people is the most difficult part, but for many of us, it is the most important part. And now that we are doing everything on Zoom, it's very, very unique. So today I will give you some advice on what to do and what not to do.
Okay, most of the people said that they do not need translation. So I
they don't hear you?
They do hear me. I mean, they do not need translation. They do understand
fantastic.
you. But if there is someone who needs translation, then please write plus in the chat, so I will help start translating.
I need Russian translation because I didn't understand why everybody was putting minuses.
Sorry.
No. Now I see. Great. So then I will go faster and louder. No, I'm joking. But if I do speak too quickly or I do say something you don't understand, please do stop me. But I think someone just jumped in. But just as I was saying, I really want to spend some time today just giving some advice. If you come to my school, great. But if you're going to other schools or interviewing with other people, there are many things that you can do to help yourself during the process. Number one, appearance. If you are doing a Zoom, you have to look ready and look professional. I can tell you many stories of kids that look great and look ready, and times when students don't. You don't have to wear a tie if you're a young man. You don't have to be completely ready for a ball gown if you're a female, but you have to look professional. You should be wearing something nice. I try to tell my students, imagine you were going to have lunch with your grandmother. You know, what would you wear? You wouldn't wear an old t-shirt or messy clothes or have a hat on. I've had some boys come in the interview wearing baseball caps. No. Just how you present yourself, of course, is very, very important. It's a first impression, the first thing that we see when we turn the camera on. Number two, minimize distractions if possible. This means if you're at home and you have 5 cats that live at your house, make sure you close the door so the cats aren't coming in. Sometimes this can be cute and this can be funny, but it can distract you, it can distract the person interviewing you, and it can just leave a very negative impression on the interviewer that you're just not ready or that you weren't prepared for your interview. Same thing, you know, with family members. Keep your mom and your dad out of the room. This is a big one that sometimes parents forget. I know parents are on here listening right now, and as I'm a parent as well, we want to help our boys and girls, we want to help them, but during the interview, the interviewer wants to talk to the student. They don't want help from the parents. This is important for us when working with international students because we want to make sure that they understand all the English. And sometimes parents will be in the room and we can hear you whispering. We can see the student always looking to the side. There's very many easy ways for us to see this. And it just feels dishonest as well. So make sure that you're in a space that, you know, the phone isn't going to ring, no one's going to be pounding on the door, that your job for that 30 minutes or so is on the interview. Okay. Last one on the appearance is consider where you are. Okay, like if I turn off my screen, you see I'm in my office, there's books behind me. It looks like an office of someone who has my job. I work at a school, and my office is decorated to look like that. And that's very important. Even here, as I have the presentation behind me, it looks nice and clean and is professional. If a student is sitting in their dirty room with their, with loud music or maybe offensive pictures on the wall behind them, it can go very badly very quickly. So again, this goes with looking professional. Try to make sure you're in a good space. If you're at home, that's okay. Many of us are doing Zoom at home these days. That's normal, but make sure you're in, a nice quiet part of the house or in the apartment. Maybe at the kitchen table is okay. That's part of life right now. But make sure that behind you there isn't anything inappropriate or crazy happening. Especially if there's a big window behind you, because then we're just going to see what's behind you, or we'll get the reflection. So really consider where you're going to sit at your home. I know this is something that we see in advice online now all the time because of this last year and everybody using Zoom and video conferencing. But again, for me as the interviewer, these are really important, because then I know that all three of these, I know the student is prepared. They took the time to get themselves ready. They made sure that the room was focused and prepared for the interview. Any questions on appearance? I think these are all pretty straightforward. Oh, wonderful. As a teacher,
some information.
Great. As a teacher, when there's no questions, that means I'm giving great information. So that makes me feel good. All right, let's jump to the next one. Attitude. This is tough. This is the hard part for many students. If there's adults listening and students listening right now, we get nervous. We get nervous during these types of Zoom interviews or someone asking you questions. That's important to somehow you have to be able to deal with that. It's okay to be nervous, but you have to engage. Engage means show the interviewer that you are focused on the interview. If you're looking at your phone or looking out the window or reading your email on the screen, it's very obvious. Again, all of us now are experts at video, and we know when people are writing emails. We know we can see their eyes reading something and looking elsewhere on the screen. Make sure if you're being interviewed, your focus is 100% on the interview. So that means engage. That means answer questions. That means ask questions, and we'll get to that in a bit. But give the interviewer your personality. That's where I say number 2 is be you. Even for high school, university, or even for a job. If I was interviewing someone for a job here, I want to see who they are. I don't want robots just answering questions like they think I want them to be answered. I want to see them. I want them to talk about themselves. This is a very difficult thing for all of us. It doesn't matter what country you live in, what culture you grow up in. Our parents always teach us to be modest and not talk about ourselves too much. That's very normal. And then in an interview, we keep saying, tell me about yourself. Tell me why you are so good. And that's difficult for 13-year-olds. It's difficult for 30-year-olds. So be you, show your personality. If you love music, tell me you love music. And tell me why. If you love science, tell me why you love it. Don't just say, I like science. Tell me why. Let me rephrase that. Don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what you want to tell me. Okay, that's more important. Okay, not every student has, every student is different. And I think that's also very important for students and parents to know. That's what excites us at schools like this. If everybody was the same, schools like this wouldn't be necessary. Schools like this would be boring. We want unique personalities. We want kids with unique and diverse interests. So that the interview is a really great opportunity for the kid to tell us. If you have unique hobbies, if you like reading books, tell me what kind of books. If you like sports, tell me what sports. If you like movies, if you like TV shows, whatever you like, tell us. Be you. That's so important for us because we want to see you as the person, not the application. I have files all over my desk with, papers and test scores and transcripts and application answers. This is useful information, but we want the student energy. We want to see their energy, their passion, their character. And that's important, the last part. Have fun. Again, these things can be nerve-wracking and make us very nervous, especially for younger students. I interviewed a 13-year-old boy yesterday, and he was nervous. But so I will try to make them have fun, and I think I'm really good at that. Not every interviewer is as exciting as me. Sometimes they will be very boring, I'll be honest, and sometimes they will be very plain. But as a student, have fun. Let me see you smile. If I'm working on these interviews, I will tell silly jokes and I will try to get the student to smile, but some interviewers will not. I think it's very important as you're showing your personality, as you're engaging with your interviewer, to smile, be friendly, ask them about themselves, ask them questions. And I think that's important for you to have fun. At the end of the interview, you want to say, that was fun, not that was difficult or I survived. It should be, that was fun. Maybe we had some laughs, we learned about the school, we talked about movies or TV shows or sports, I don't know, but it should be fun. It should not be like going to the dentist, okay? My last big part is preparation. Oh my goodness, this is perhaps the most devastating thing that can happen to a student in an interview when they are not prepared. Your parents should be, this is a lesson we are always teaching our kids, to be prepared. But as an interviewer, it is very, very clear when people are not prepared. Number one, know the school that you're talking to. If you are applying to 10, 5, 20, 30 schools, know which one you're talking to, okay? For example, my school's in Minnesota, it's a high school. If you think I'm a university in Florida or a university in Italy, it's gonna be a very difficult interview for you, okay? So that means do your homework before the interview. All of these schools have websites. And you should be looking at those websites, researching the part of the website that you're interested in. Again, if you love music, you should be looking at the music classes they offer. If you love science, you should be looking at the science options at these schools. Know these schools before you talk to the admissions representative. Hopefully you know the school a lot already. That's why you're applying to the school. But do your homework before the interview to get prepared, also to get questions. If you don't have questions for the interviewer about the school, the interviewer will be upset. Really, they'll feel like you didn't take the time to really prepare. Yes, our websites are beautiful and we give you lots of information. And yes, I will give you lots of information, but every student certainly has questions. So be sure to come prepared for them. And I tell every student the same thing, every family as well. There are no stupid questions. This is a huge decision for your family. If you go to go abroad, to send your children abroad. I'm a parent, I get nervous sending my children on a school bus. I can't imagine putting them on a school plane. So the idea here is, ask questions. You might think it's a small question. You might be as silly as, what time do they go to bed, or what happens on the weekends? People forget these questions. They get nervous, and these kind of simple, like daily life questions we forget. So little questions, big questions, what will happen to me after I'm finished? How will you prepare me for this? I've heard millions of questions from boys and girls that have had some really good ones. And there's some very typical questions that, we hear a lot, how is lunch? What are the kids like? What do we do at Christmas time? When do we go? When is the school closed? Blah, 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 blah. But trying to find questions, not just that are unique, but questions that are unique to your interests. This is a very important way for us to learn who you are. Okay, it helps us know what kind of student you are by, if you're asking questions about specific programs, it helps us to know what kind of character you have. If you're asking us questions about community service, if you're asking us questions about diversity and gender balance and how we treat each other on our campus, that shows me this is a person really concerned about the community. If you have questions about sports or university, these questions really help us understand who you are. So most of the time, especially when I do interviews, I ask questions for maybe 20 minutes, and then I say to the student, okay, what do you want to know? If they say, I'm not sure. Oh, I write on my piece of paper, not ready for the interview. And that's a difficult thing, because I don't want to write that. So many students, if you have, write questions down beforehand, please write them down, because you will forget. You will get nervous, or you will be talking and you'll forget. And if your questions are answered, you can say, oh, I had several questions, but you already answered them. And that's okay too. But come prepared, be ready for that interview. And again, this connects to the first part, know the school you are talking to. Ask me questions about my school. Again, if you're unprepared and you're asking me a question that doesn't connect to my school, that's very, 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 very clear to the interviewer. And lastly, really remember that we do lots of interviews. Lots and lots and lots of interviews. Some schools are smaller, bigger. Universities, they do many, many interviews. And sometimes those interviews get boring and they're asking the same questions. Oh, you need translation?
Yes, right now we need to.
Okay, so do you want me to stop right there and you're going to translate everything from the last 15 minutes? Good luck. I'm joking.
No, I think we can continue, and the following words I can translate.
Good. Okay, so really the last message I was trying to say is you can use the interview to stand out. It is a competitive world. It's going to be very competitive when you're applying at any of these schools. The interview is your opportunity to stand out amongst the crowd, to show us why you're special, to show us why you're unique, and why we should let you come to our school.
Интервью — это прекрасная возможность, которую надо обязательно использовать для того, чтобы выделиться среди толпы, потому что сейчас, безусловно, высокий уровень конкуренции. Поэтому обязательно воспользуйтесь этой возможностью и покажите себя с наилучшей стороны.
And my last slide, I have a beautiful picture of my school, just because I want you guys to see my beautiful school, but also my contact information. I tell everybody, please contact me. Even if you're looking at universities, even if you're not ready for our school, I'm happy to help. If you have questions about interviews or questions about applications or how these things work, I know Academic Consult is fantastic, and they will help you with many, many, many things. But sometimes it might be nice to talk to someone on the other side of the table. So I'm always happy to help.
Ну, к сожалению, уже последний слайд, на котором вы видите фотографию нашей школы. Поэтому я всегда говорю, вот мои контакты, пожалуйста, обращайтесь ко мне, не бойтесь этого делать, даже в том случае, если вы не собираетесь пока что поступать в нашу школу. Я, безусловно, знаю, что компания Academ Consult предоставляет хорошую консультацию, но, тем не менее, я всегда рад ответить на любые вопросы и по поводу поступления, по поводу всего, что угодно. Поэтому всегда рад пообщаться с новыми людьми. Извините, я пропустила эти моменты проговаривать для поступления детей в школы, или также для взрослых. Эти моменты проговариваются для поступления детей в школы.
Great. I think we have about 10 minutes left. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has about my school or interviewing or really anything. We could talk news, movies, whatever you want.
Итак, у нас остается где-то примерно 10 минут. Вы можете задать свои вопросы, либо включайте звук, или пишите их в чате. Мы на все ответим. Можем поговорить про поступление, про кино, музыку, что угодно.
I hope your child has an interviewer like me too. A student I was just emailing this morning, he chose to go to another school, but he said he thought I was really nice, and I like that. But this job is difficult, and I like to tell people, you know, I have children, I know this school, I take it very seriously, and most of the people you meet will be really fun and wonderful like me. They might have more hair, which I don't like, but I hope you meet some wonderful people in the admissions process.
Была только что представлена благодарность Эндрю Гарлинскому за то, что, так сказать, надежда на то, что у всех детей будет такой прекрасный интервьюер на собеседованиях, на что он ответил, что, конечно, у него был однажды студент, который прошел интервью, однако выбрал обучение в другой школе, но отметил, что интервью с Эндрю прошло отлично, ему очень понравилось, так что, да, конечно, было бы очень хорошо, если бы у всех детей были такие интервьюеры.
See a question there.
This question is a technical one, so I can answer it.
Okay.
Что за программа, которая показывает его на слайде презентации? Я думаю, что ответ будет программа PowerPoint, которая создается все презентации. Okay, any more questions, maybe? Ждем еще вопросы. Пожалуйста, не стесняйтесь задавать вообще про что угодно. So people would like to know about the SHATTUCK School.
Okay, I can give you a quick presentation about SHATTUCK. I'd love to do that.
Сейчас Андрей покажет небольшую презентацию о школе SHATTUCK, так что вы сможете узнать все поближе.
I will start here. Yeah. SHATTUCK St. Mary's is grade 6 through grade 12, middle school and high school, and we are located in Minnesota, right in the middle of the United States. And we have just over 400 students this year.
Наша школа приглашает на обучение с 6 по 12 классы. Мы предоставляем как среднее образование, так и высшее образование, то есть средняя высшая школа. Находится наша школа в штате Миннесота, прямо в центре США. И у нас около 400 студентов обучается.
Sorry, I shared this wrong one. So here we are in a small town about 45 minutes south of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So not New York, not California, small town, safe, quiet, safe and quiet. I think it's just very important for our younger children.
Вот, мы находимся именно здесь, как вы видите на слайде. Это очень небольшой город, это не Нью-Йорк, не Калифорния, да. Здесь очень тихо и спокойно, и я думаю, что это прекрасно, особенно для родителей, которые знают, что отправляют своих детей в небольшой город.
Our school is old. We began in 1858. In Russia, this is not very old. In the United States, this is very old. So we have some beautiful, beautiful old buildings that I will show you pictures of.
Наша школа довольно с богатой историей. Датой основания считается 1858 год. Конечно, для России это не столь большие цифры, но для США приличные. И сейчас я покажу вам фотографии наших кампусов и наших прекрасных зданий.
So many of our buildings you can see are more than 100 years old and built like this castle type building, which very much looks like a boarding school. But you can also see from this picture, this is my office right here, my window right here. But we have a small, quiet town. I will make that very clear. You know, this is not the big city. You can see it's tucked away in a small city.
Нашей школе уже около 100 лет, и здание нашей школы уже около 100 лет, и, как вы видите, здание построено в стиле такого дворца, и я еще раз акцентирую внимание на том, что мы находимся в небольшом городе, где он очень небольшой и очень тихий. Я несколько раз буду еще раз обращать внимание на это.
I think I need to show some different pictures. Sorry, I'm going to unshare this and share something different. Bear with me 1 second.
Сейчас, подождите, пожалуйста, секундочку. Я найду немного другие изображения. Мне кажется, они будут получше.
Oh, I have too many.
Там у меня просто слишком много их.
So these are our dorms for where our boys live. You can see we have 4 dorms. This is actually where I live. This building is 111 years old. This is one of our new dorms. It's only 3 years old. So a lot of differences between just our boys' dorms.
На фотографиях вы можете видеть общежитие, которое мы предоставляем для мальчиков. Тут есть общежитие, которым уже около 111 лет, а есть совершенно новые, построенные недавно, которым всего лишь 3 года.
We have some smaller dorms for our girls.
У нас есть более уютные небольшие общежития для девочек.
But then again, this is that picture I showed you earlier. We have that boarding school look.
Ну, это опять же фотография, которую я уже показывала ранее. Фотография нашего школы-пансиона.
Now, the old buildings are beautiful, but it's 2021. We've spent many, 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 many dollars and much time building new updated buildings as well. This is our new science building that is 21st century.
Конечно, здания с богатой историей прекрасны, но на дворе уже 21 век, и мы потратили очень много денег и много времени на то, чтобы построить новые кампусы, и на фотографии вы можете видеть здание научного корпуса.
We just finished building this student center as well behind our school. I will show you the inside.
Мы только что, буквально недавно закончили постройку этого студенческого центра, поэтому сейчас я покажу вам фотографии, как он выглядит внутри.
And this is a picture that I really like that shows the combination of the old and the new. You can see the exterior of the old building is now the interior of this new building.
Это фотография, которая мне очень нравится, потому что здесь идет смешение старого и нового, ведь снаружи здание выглядит старым, но внутри очень современный интерьер.
So maybe the old look on the outside, but modern, new on the inside. So especially where we feed our kids and make our food.
Поэтому вы можете видеть исторический вид снаружи и очень современную обстановку внутри. Вот на предыдущей фотографии была столовая, где едят студенты.
This is our sports area. We have a lot of sports areas. We have 2 full ice rinks and a small ice rink. We have a full soccer field inside for the winter time. And across the street here is our own 18-hole golf course, all on campus right here.
У нас очень развита спортивная зона. Присутствует 2 больших катка для занятий хоккеем, 1 небольшой каток, также крытый корт, крытое поле для игры футбола зимой, и гольф-поля.
But our sports center was just only finished last year, so we have a brand new basketball gym, weight center, like I said, hockey rinks, everything in here on campus. Only no swimming pool.
Это зал, который мы построили в том году. Вы можете видеть, это зал для занятий баскетболом. У нас есть абсолютно все. Единственное, чего нет, это бассейна.
But then we still have the traditional library. So it's a lot of old and new married together, which is very important for us.
Но также у нас есть и традиционная библиотека, и, как вы можете видеть, это сочетание старого и нового постоянно присутствует, что очень важно для нас.
So while our library is, of course, very important for us, this is our theater, which is for us a very important place for the community, not just for our actors and dancers and performers and musicians, but also for our community. We meet here regularly. COVID has, of course, helped us keep away from this space because we can't have too many people together. But when we return next fall with hopefully vaccines and COVID in the past, this will be again an important place for our community.
На данной фотографии вы можете увидеть наш замечательный театр. Он на самом деле очень важен для всех нас, потому что это именно он важен не только для тех, кто выступает там или ходит, так сказать, да, в актерский кружок, но для всех нас, потому что именно в этом зале мы постоянно собираемся. Да, к сожалению, ковид накладывает свои ограничения на собрания, и мы старались избегать этого места, так как запрещен сбор большого количества людей. Но я надеюсь, что следующей осенью мы обязательно снова вернемся в этот зал и будем встречаться.
Now, I can show you many, many pictures of beautiful buildings, but I think in our short time, it's very important for me to tell you what's happening inside the buildings.
Конечно, я могу показывать вам очень-очень много красивых фотографий наших кампусов, но так как у нас недостаточно много времени, я перейду к тому, что же на самом деле происходит.
This is our creativity center, which is very new, where we have students in studios with recording studios and film studio, fashion design studio, where we want students not just sitting in a chair, listening to boring teachers like me, but trying things with their hands, having those experiences and learning skills, not just knowledge every day.
На этой фотографии вы можете увидеть наш центр креативности, наш творческий центр. Здесь есть и студия звукозаписи, и студия видеозаписи, все что угодно, лишь бы сделать так, чтобы студенты, школьники встали со своих стульев и начали браться за дело своими руками. Так что очень творческое пространство.
And this idea of our students experiencing is very important for our academic program. We call this program Scholar Shift. And Tanya doesn't have to translate everything here, but I'll give you, she knows this, but I'll give you kind of the quick explanation. We don't want, again, students sitting in a desk Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. Yes, that is part of our school, and that is very important, but we really work hard on making sure students have individual experiences where they are responsible, organized, independent, and having time to experience things. Again, going to universities, going to hospitals, going to businesses, not just sitting in a desk reading a book.
В основном наш главный посыл заключается в том, чтобы предоставить студентам время для самореализации какой-то. Мы предоставляем программу, которая называется Scholar Shift, или если говорить дословно, то это некое сдвиг обучения. Мы не хотим, чтобы школьники весь день сидели за своими партами и с понедельника по пятницу занимались своими уроками. Мы стараемся дать им также свободное время для того, чтобы в это время они могли получить какие-то новые навыки, стать более организованными, независимыми. И мы делаем все для того, чтобы предоставить им достаточно времени для новых возможностей. Например, чтобы создать какой-то проект, программу или пойти в тот же самый госпиталь и так далее.
Good job. I know this is a unique program, and I'm happy if we have more time at another time, if you would like to learn more about this program. This is really what makes SHATTUCK-St. Mary's different, this academic approach. It's much more easy to explain now because of COVID, because what we were doing was a lot of combination of online and in person. And COVID has shown that, yes, we can do some good things online. It's not the end of the world learning online. It's difficult if it's only online, but it can be used as part of the experience to help students free up their time to explore their own interests.
На самом деле это абсолютно уникальная программа, и если вы хотите узнать о ней подробнее, вы можете ко мне обратиться попозже. Эта программа абсолютно новый подход к обучению, которая помогает студентам больше узнать о себе. Конечно, родителям было тяжело представить смешение традиционного и дистанционного обучения. Однако теперь, после пандемии, представить дистанционное обучение стало гораздо легче, поэтому мы смешиваем оба формата и уверены, что такой подход может помочь студентам найти новые интересы и больше разобраться в себе.
The last thing that makes us really unique are what we call centers of excellence. These are programs that attract many students. About 75% of our students join one of these programs, but they are not required. And for us, in sports or music or science, for that student who says, I love this, I want more biology, I want more ice hockey, I want more singing, we can help them get more, yet still have a normal high school experience. They don't have to choose one or the other. They can follow that passion.
Также мы предоставляем центры некого развития. Около 70% наших студентов принимают участие в этих центрах. Если, например, они хотят заниматься спортом, музыкой или актерским мастерством, они просто приходят, так сказать, и говорят об этом. Такой формат помогает им заниматься чем-то действительно интересным, но, тем не менее, предоставляет опыт и традиционного обучения.
Great. So we have a biology program, which is for students that maybe want to study medicine, an engineering program where students are obviously doing lots of engineering work, robotics and programming. A program that is like honors program where students are going to university lectures and absorbing lots of different subjects. I'll stop there.
Мы предоставляем как классы биологии, где студенты могут лучше познакомиться с медициной, также занятия по инжинирингу, где они могут начать создавать новые вещи, а также гуманитарные классы, где можно обсудить волнующие всех проблемы и так далее.
We have I just saw some questions there. International student body and languages. We are usually in a normal year, our international student body is about 120, about 25%. This year a little smaller because of COVID. And our international students usually come from about 25 different countries. So in a normal year, we have over 20 languages spoken on campus.
Обычно интернациональных студентов у нас около 120 человек, это около 25% обучающихся. Но сейчас, конечно же, из-за ковида это количество иностранных студентов снизилось. Но, как правило, в нашем вузе есть представители 25 разных стран, и студенты говорят, так сказать, более чем на 20 языках.
Thanks, good question. And languages we teach, in case that's your question, we teach Chinese, we teach Spanish, French, English, of course, and we also teach American Sign Language.
Также говоря о том, какие языки преподаются в нашей школе, у нас можно выучить китайский, французский, испанский, а также язык для глухонемых.
Good. So other programs for us, our ice hockey program is very famous. And in the past several years, many of our Russians that have been on campus have been here for our ice hockey program, figure skating program as well, golf, and soccer.
Также мы предоставляем, так сказать, хоккейный кружок. Очень многие студенты из России интересовались им и приезжали к нам именно из-за хоккея. Также мы предоставляем фигурное катание и футбол. Также гольф.
Golf too, yeah, you forgot golf. And then we also have music programs, high level and basic, if you piano 1, guitar 1, but also very high level. This young man was from Minsk, from Belarus, and now he went to Juilliard in New York because our flexible schedule let him be a high level musician and a normal student. And we also have kids doing the same with singing, opera, pops, singing and musical theater, a lot of different options for musicians.
У нас можно научиться также и музыке. Играют наши студенты на абсолютно разных музыкальных инструментах. На предыдущей фотографии вы видели виолончелиста. Это студент нашего университета, бывший, из Минска, который сейчас играет в Нью-Йорке. Также наши студенты, они исполняют музыку в разных жанрах, и в итоге выходят как певцами оперы, так и поп-певцами, и также принимают участие или работают в музыкальных театрах.
But really, our goal is to have a happy community and have successful students. Our job is to get them here to our graduation day, but then get them to university, of course.
Ну, конечно же, главной нашей целью являются счастливые студенты, счастливая атмосфера. Безусловно, мы их здесь обучаем, но одной из целей в будущем является их поступление в университет.
Great. And our university list is much longer than this. This is just a piece, but I think it shows how important our job is to help you find the right university. Just like Academic Consult helps you find the right school, probably our biggest job is to help you, the student find the right university. Harvard, Yale, maybe, of course, those are schools moms and dads want to see on this list. But our students are going all around the country, sometimes even back home to their countries. But this is something we're very, very proud of.
Конечно же, список университетов, в которые поступают наши выпускники, гораздо шире, чем вы можете видеть на экране. И, конечно, наша самая главная цель – это помочь студентам найти место, университет, куда бы они хотели поступить. Наши студенты, конечно же, поступают в такие большие университеты, как Yale, Гарвард, но и любые другие университеты по всей стране. Некоторые также возвращаются в свои страны, обратно на родину. Вот так.
And last thing, talk about kind of how COVID has affected us. Of course, like every community in the world, COVID has affected us. And it's changed how we operate, which is difficult because the best thing about a boarding school like this is the community, getting kids together from different backgrounds, different interests, and everything about COVID says stay apart. So we've had to divide our students to help keep them safe and keep the community safe. But we are heading in the right direction. We are back in classes more more than we've been all year. Almost all of our teachers have their vaccinations, and even some of our students are beginning to get vaccinations. So we are very excited about next fall having a return to almost normal. Maybe we'll still have our masks, but we will be in class more and have the ability for students to be together again.
И сейчас мы поговорим о том, как же ковид повлиял на работу нашей школы. Безусловно, ограничения, которые пришлось соблюдать из-за пандемии, поменяли то, как наш подход к обучению и слаженность, так сказать, нашего студенческого общества. И, конечно же, нам приходилось избегать собраний, к которым мы так привыкли из-за всех этих ограничений. Но сейчас мы движемся в верном направлении. Многие учителя прошли этап вакцинации, также студенты начинают вакцинироваться. И я надеюсь, что вскоре мы вернемся к привычному образу работы. Безусловно, наверное, мы будем продолжать носить маски в классах, но тем не менее.
And as I gave you information before, feel free to contact me if you want to learn more about Shattuck St. Mary's. Of course, I think we're the best school ever, but I'm also an alum of this school. I'm happy to meet with you and talk with you or your children, even before you decide to apply. You don't have to wait to apply to ask me questions and learn more about the school. So I'm at all times, like I said, happy to answer questions because this is a very, very big decision for you and your family.